everyone, I am Ramya Gunuru studying second computers in Specialist Degree College, Paikropeta. Now I want to explain building blocks of ER model. ER stands for Entity Relationship Model. It is a model which is used to represent entities, attributes and relationships in a graphical form. This model is proposed by Peter Chen in the year of 1976. It facilitates database design. Database designers use this ER model. Components or building blocks of ER model. Entity. Entity is an object that stores access and data. Entity can be real world object which can be person, place or anything. Entity is represented by rectangle symbol. Entity should be in noun form. The sample records of entity is referred as entity occurrence or entity instance. Set of entities are called entity set. Types of entities: strong entity, weak entity and associative entity. Strong entity: an entity which existence does not depend on other entities. It is represented by single line rectangle. It has unique characteristic called primary key. Example for strong entity: employee. Weak entity: an entity whose existence depends on other entities. It is represented by double line rectangle. It has a key which refers to primary key on strong entity. See here, the example is employee and the family is dependent on the employee. So here the family is the weak entity and employee is strong entity. Associative entity: it is an entity that associates two or more entities. It associates entities with many-to-many relationship. It is represented by diamond inside rectangle. See here the student and the course. The relation between the student and course is joins. It is called the relation. Attribute. Attribute is a characteristic or property of an object. It is represented by oval symbol. Entity and attribute connected by a line. The example of this is employee has employee number, employee name, age, date of birth, address. And these are the attributes of employee. So it can be shown by oval symbol. Types of entities: there are 9. The first one is simple attribute, composite attribute, required attribute, optional attribute, single valued attribute, multi-valued attribute, derived attribute, null attribute and identifier attribute. The first one is simple attribute. Simple attribute is nothing but which cannot be further subdivided are called simple attribute. Example, employee number. And the second one is composite attribute, an attribute which can be further subdivided. Example, name. Name has the first name, last name and middle name. So it can be subdivided. Third one is required attribute, an attribute whose value should be declared compulsorily. Example, e-number. Take an example. In every table, it's mandatory to mention. And fourth one is optional attribute, an attribute whose values are not compulsory. Example, alternate phone number. Single valued attribute, an attribute with only one value. Example, ATM PIN number. ATM PIN number has only one value. Multi-valued attributes, an attribute with more values and it is represented by double line oval symbol. Example, phone number. Phone number can have many numbers. And the last one is derived attribute. An attribute is derived from other attribute. Example, age. It is represented by dashed oval symbol. We can derive the age from the date of birth. And next one is null attribute. An attribute with null values. Null is an unknown value. And the last one is identifier attribute. An identifier which identifies a record uniquely, it is nothing but a primary key. Which means if we have employee number or address number or item number, then we can say the total record or tuple in the table. So it is called identifier attribute. I hope that you all understood. Thank you very much.